will incorporate all of the new jurors, which also means that the contests that are up for a vote right now and those that are going to be voted on in the future are all going to involve the now larger and far more diverse pool of jurors from the community. So that's, I think, a major win. So yay, go jurors. Continuing with jury members, of course, you will receive the very conservative sum of 50 tons apiece as a joining gift. Don't spend it all in one place, as they say. But obviously, as you all vote and give feedback for contests, you'll get a lot more as a percentage of the total distributed winner tokens. So you have a very huge incentive to do well. So thank you all very much for your participation, and congratulations to you again. Moving on. In terms of contests and voting, I know that some of the current jurors were concerned that there are only a few days left for active contests, including the 5 brand awareness contests. Don't worry, once the new smart contract is redeployed or deployed, I don't know what the technical terminology is, but the vote timer is going to automatically reset. So there are going to be 10 more days to vote. So everybody can just keep calm and relax. We have a little bit of time. And I know that some of the 1.0 jury members already went to vote. Hi, Sergey, sorry. But yes, you're going to have to vote again because essentially the data will be erased. But at least you're going to have a few more days to do it. And, you know, it's all coming together. Apologies for the extra legwork. So, but it's still a good thing. Okay. Now, I want to talk about something very important. There was a minor buzz around contest submission evaluations this time around. And I don't want to go swimming in the mud, so to speak, but it's become fairly apparent that it has to be said out loud that there must be some way to connect the work to the contest submission, okay? When a juror looks at a contest submission, they have to be objective or as objective as any human being can be. And much like in any jury in the off-chain world, right? They have to strictly, in their attempt to be objective, they have to rely strictly on what's in front of them and not on what they think they know, or even if they know you personally, they still have to, you know, put that aside. The PDF must have links that have to somehow connect back to the, let's call it the personality who actually did the work. So this doesn't mean compromising anonymity, because even something as simple as a Telegram ID is all in all of the linked work, both in the PDF and in the forum and in the submission, is enough so that the juror can make the connection. It's important to confirm that the person who submitted the work is the same person who created it. This gives the jury a way to, at the very least, reach out to that personality if they have any doubts, or if or if they have any questions, and then they can confirm, is the work really theirs? A lot of submissions didn't have any connection whatsoever back to the person who did the work, and just a simple nickname on the forum doesn't necessarily mean that it's the same person who's actually responsible for doing that work. So that's a potential attack. So I just hope that that's clear moving forward. This is a very important thing, and I think we're going to try to incorporate that in every contest, and hopefully everybody else will.
Ron, actually not. I strongly object. If it has to be enforced, it has to be in the context rules. If it's not in the context rules, it doesn't have to be enforced. I beg to differ. Jury is a community of experts. It's not police, not a bunch of monkeys who have to click on the links to verify that the identity is true. No, they have to carry out a thoughtful and sane decision about, does this work belong to the contest or not? There are rules, and the only law which should be checked during the jury's work is this work does it belong to the rules of this contest or not?
Okay, I
That
appreciate
should be
your
deserve
comment.
an injection or not. Okay.
I appreciate your comment, and I understand, but the word rule, I don't want to hash this out in a live stream. It'll take too much time. But the bottom line is, it's not rules. It's just, to me, I'm going to say my personal view. It's just logic. You have to be able to find out.
Yeah,
if
it's
the
a
person is
protocol.
there. It's a matter of practicality, because if there is no way to make that connection, then anybody can do it. It's not about rules. Rules is absolutely the wrong terminology to use. It's about logic and common sense. If I fill out a job application, I can use anybody's information, but I expect that that the person reviewing the application has a way to get in contact with me and verify that it's me. That's just common sense as far as I'm concerned. So I don't want to spend too much time on this. If there are any questions or discussions about this particular topic, let's just save them for the end. I understand that people have varying views, and I appreciate and respect that, but let's just keep the presentation going and just write down your questions, and at the end we can hash it all out, if that's okay with everybody. Yeah. Okay. So moving on. The last thing from me, at least, before I pass things off, is current active contests, right, that are awaiting submissions right now. Those are Brand Masters, Bug Bounty, Country Ambassadors Stage 1, which I really would like to see a little more activity on, to be honest. Slashing Condition Specification, TonOS DApp Server for DevOps, but there are a whole bunch of new contests coming up shortly, most of them techie. I know the DePool's proposal is up right now, collecting votes to go live, so lots of good stuff in the pipeline. And Mitya will also talk a little bit more about that. And also, I think he's going to have a very important presentation on Decentralized Governance 2.0. That's you, Mitya, right?
Well, I'll talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So for the moment, that's it for me. I'll pass the mic over to Mitya, and he can tell you more about those. So podium is yours, my friend.
Hi. Yeah. Hi, everyone. So there are the first is the DePool contest. Well, it's the only thing I can say is that it should. I don't know if it's passed, and we're waiting for that. Basically, once it's passed, everything we're going to publish all the instructions, the DePool contract source code, the instructions on how to set it all up. It's a complicated contest in terms of DevOps kind of thing, because you will need to be able to deploy the DePool and configure it properly to work with timer contracts. You also will need to deploy a proxy contract for that, and you also will need to be able to send the correct instructions from your validator node to DePool, because DePool is obviously managing all the everything that's going on with the validator contract, elector contract. So that's going to be published. I don't know, Ron, when do you expect this to pass?
It has
Me?
33%, something like that. It was published today morning. So 33%, so 17 more. Hopefully today.
Okay, so we're waiting for that. And there are some procedures to follow in terms of getting your addresses to the Google tables, the Google forms, and be credited once for deployment and once for the stake itself. And the stake will be locked using a specially created DePool function, lock function, which basically is restricting the stake as it will be on the mainnet once whoever won the Magister Ludi contest will be credited with the locked staked amounts and then getting rewarded. And we're going to simulate that precisely in this contest, which is very, very important, we believe, for all the validators to get used to how it all works, and also for debugging the whole thing, right? The DePool contract has been extensively modified over the last 3 months. It's undergoing the formal verification right now, but it's very fresh, so the bugs may be there. And if you discover these bugs, you will get rewarded as well as part of the contest. So the lock method was added. Also the vesting method was added, so we can use DePools now to kind of lock some tokens for some validators, and also, you know, to distribute automatically some funds over vesting mechanisms going forward in DePool, which, you know, obviously will make many people happy because that will earn them rewards. I don't know if there was any question about DePool, so I will, you know, be glad to answer that in the end. Now, for the other topic that I just wanted to discuss. Yeah, sorry, Sergey, please.
Just want to add that the instructions for the contest have already been published just before the stream.
Excellent. And then the code probably has been published. And okay, so you're welcome to go into. Sergey, please post this on the forum, the links to everything under the contest there. And you're you know, you can right now start actually preparing that. I hope that will pass. And you can earn some time, because actually, you know, when the contest start, the validator, you know, the validator effectiveness will be counted, and so the prices, as I just want to remind everyone that there are 200 places that will get rewards, and so I think it's quite nice contest. What else about that? I think that's all for DePool. Again, we'll be happy to answer any questions in the end. Another topic was the governance 2.0. Now, I have an interest in promoting governance 2.0 myself very, you know, hard, because right now there are 2 branches of development going on currently. One is a governance 1, and another is a governance 2. And there are 2 kind of separate teams which are working on that. And unfortunately, one of these teams is Tonlabs. And I want to kind of avoid that as much as possible and give the community, you know, to work on that. And there is a great team of people who are working on that in the community currently with their proposal on governance 2.0, which obviously, again, I have participated, and Tonlabs will support that in terms of writing smart contracts for all of that, and obviously we will do that part of the job for sure. But the rest of it should be you know, managed and developed by the community. I strongly believe so. So what is happening is that I spoke with guys today, which were kind of ready to do the presentation, but we believe that it deserves a special stream, a separate stream, because it will take just too much time out of this, and I don't think it's you know, necessary. So so we propose a Friday, 17 CET, which is 18 Moscow time, 17 Berlin time, to do the special stream on governance and governance 2.0. And I will share my screen now, so you'll see I can show you how it looks like, but definitely, you know, I'm not going to, I'm not the one that should present that. So there's still, of course, the work in progress, but it now supports the, you know, all the the content pages with, and then most importantly, the actual voting for both for proposal and for submissions. So it's more than what you have in governance 1.1, when you can only vote for, like the jury can vote for submissions. In this governance 2.0 system, you have the full cycle, including the SMV voting by the community with the tokens, and then the voting for the submissions themselves. And it's supporting groups and which are streamlining the jury process and you know, other groups that I'm sure, you know, guys will present the whole thing again. So Friday, 6 o'clock, if there are no objections, like 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. Berlin time CET. You know, we'll be happy to invite everyone for this discussion about the governance 2.0, which I think is very important for the whole community going forward. So I think that's all from me. Ron, back to you. Ron? We lost him.
So maybe I missed something here. Is that there were some screen share
here?
Like a minute of screen share. I just missed. Where can I find it in future? Just to not spend time.
Are you talking about what exactly?
Yeah, you shared screen and very like fastly, and I just missed the last minute. Where can I like see?
You can just go to the stream on Friday.
Oh, okay.
And there will be, you know, the guys will present it, and maybe will be some link to play with that already. I don't know. This is like what I showed you. Just was they send me the like it's an internal link.
Okay.
The current state, so it's not yet public. What's the next on the agenda?
That's actually it, which is, I thought we'd have a very, very long agenda today, and it turns out it looks like we got a lot of room for questions, and something tells me we're going to have a lot. So so let's just go ahead and start with the questions that are here in the discussion itself. Who has something to ask, something to comment on? No one? Really? Nobody has a question?
I oh, sorry.
I have a question. Can I? Actually, I have two questions from yesterday. Fludilka. So first question is regarding other coins based on the FreeTON blockchain. So probably it's a question for Mitya. So what is our roadmap, or what is the Tonlabs roadmap about other coins? So are we going to use ERC20 on a FreeTON, or are we going to use some other native way to implement other coins in FreeTON? And what should be done before we can use this other way, native way to use coins?
Yeah,
this is the first.
Sure, no problem. So there is a tip 3 proposal passed already by the community, which we have implementation of on the GitHub. That's a kind of tokens that if you want to create tokens, then you have these contracts which are ready to go. I think they weren't formally verified, just was no time. So, but you can, you know, definitely do something with them, and you know, develop that further if anyone wishes. There is currently kind of three kind of tokens that you can do more or less, and like what Ethereum has, you know, several for this, like 20 ERC20, ERC721, I don't remember, 777, whatever. So we have a different design because, again, the difference between Ethereum design, current Ethereum design, and what we have in Ton is that we have a sharding and they don't yet. And so their design is kind of problematic in terms of sharding. because it's just one huge, database, key value store, whatever, for coins inside one contract, which definitely something we do not support as a design. We think it's a bad design choice for sharded networks. So we have created an architecture of distributed token, or Ton Cash it's called, and you can do all sorts of things. You can do the fungible, non-fungible, and also UTXO kind of token on that. So you can use this. It's a kind of distributed design. It's not even sharded. It's really distributed design, which I think is good for any token. What is not good for, it doesn't have a single registry with all tokens. So which is both I don't know, a good and a bad thing in the same. So if you just want one contract to give you all the registry of all the token holders, you cannot do that. And or you can do that, but you need some some additional layer where you pull that from the database and then from there create a list. But the good thing, of course, it's a totally distributed design. It's almost unlimitedly scalable. It's really nice design, and you can use it in many applications. And actually, you can create applications which you cannot do with ERC20 kind of tokens. Another, like UTXO, for example. Another thing is native currencies. So as you know, by design, Ton supports addition of native currency kind of. It's called currency collection. And to add this, you need to bribe the validators. Basically, you need to send some proposal to create this and send some money with it. And validators will then vote for creation of your currency in the collection. You can do that anytime. I'm sure nobody will notice simply because there is no user-friendly interface for such things for the validators, which definitely need to be kind of improved in the future. And hopefully we can incorporate it into the governance to the DO platform. I'm sure we need to incorporate it there when time comes. But right now, I mean, you can just go to the forum, say, guys, I want it. I really need this currency. I'm ready to pay that amount. And then just go one by one to validators and bribe them and say, please, I send a voting proposal to the elector contract. Please vote for my proposal. And if 2 sets of validators for 2 consecutive cycles will vote for it, here you go. You have your currency in the currency collection. So now you can use it natively. Now, in terms of support of applications, that's a whole different topic. Obviously, to support this, you need to support, well, if we're talking about before debots and after debots, and that just changes everything. So before debots, you will have, every application will have to kind of add support for each of them, more or less. After debots, if you write a debot, then every browser or wallet who will support debots will be able just out of the box work with any of that smart contracts or tokens, you name it. So that's the current status. I don't know.
And by the way, is the token collection stakeable?
Stakeable where?
Like in a valid, like in DePools, in validators, like
no, because they don't have any price. I mean, it's you create a rule and you say, like, I want my currency A to be in a currency collection, and I want you to mint me this amount, and validators will just create that and mint that amount, and that's it, and you will get it, and you do whatever you want.
It's just a number, right?
It's just a number. You can say this is a number. It's just another named native currency, meaning you can transfer it using native methods, like you transfer tons today, and it's actually inside the code. It's called gram, and we didn't change that in the code. So in under tons there are grams.
Shame on you.
It's inside the code. I mean, we didn't change that. It's just a symbol inside the node code. So there will be another one. If you create a native, then it will add another one.
Where is the head was SEC?
What has to do with SEC?
Like a head, like
you can create a currency in collection and call it SCC if you want.
Yeah, right. And where a head was
yeah.
So for example, actually we need another currency to make some kind of stable coin, and collections are the best way or only way, and I need to have approval of every validator, right?
Well, yes, not every 75, I think, % for this proposal, something like that. But well, 75 and 75 from the next validator set. But the thing is that I'm not sure that it's directly related to the question about stablecoin, because stablecoin you can create in many different ways. You can create stablecoin as in not native currency. You can create it as a token. What's the problem with that? It's not a problem at all. It's a question of how do you provide a mechanism, how you kind of construct a mechanism for stability of this coin. That's the question. That's the key aspect. Not about the if it's inside the currency collection. You can create a token and say we mint me 500 billion tokens called USD. That won't create a stable coin. That will just create a worthless tokens called USD. That's all.
More questions?
Yeah, can I ask another question from yesterday as well? So yesterday we were discussing Ivan raised this question about spending from givers. So it's regarding crystals spent from giver addresses during last month. So as I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, these crystals belong to community and their usage are declared. And we are not spend them for other purposes that are declared in the documents. And so community should have some way to check that spending are following declared rules.
Totally agree.
And right now we have some spending that are not doesn't have any.
Yeah. Okay. So there are two. I think there are two. Like from myself. First of all, Ron already answered that, and he said that again, this is just my personal view on that. Now, so official response from Ron, because I'm not participating in these groups that's sending these tokens at all. I mean, I'm just saying that how it looks from my perspective is the two things. So first of all, in the declaration, and there is a set amount of tokens that each of the initial validators get. So they are monthly vesting tokens, and the amounts that were distributed should be equal to the amount stated in the declaration clearly. That's not a question. Now, but from the inspection standpoint, I think that the process currently is not so good. And I'm sure if Pavel is here, he can maybe, comment on that. But I believe that doesn't matter if it's in declaration or not, any of this, well, if it's not in declaration, that's something very problematic. But if it's in the declaration, as hopefully is the case, there need to be every time and kind of I don't know, a document on the forum at least that will provide all the explanations on where, what, why, and the transaction details and the links to these transactions. And that should happen not post factum, but kind of in the same time, more or less, when this all is done. So I think that accountability is one of the very, very important cornerstones of this community. And I believe that from now on, and retroactively, actually, but I don't, again, it's not first, I don't think there is anything wrong with what happened. Okay, so meaning that everything was according to the rules, because I know there are many people who are checking that. Yet, if it's possible, please, I don't know who should do that. I mean, Ron, can you please coordinate that all the transfers will be clearly stated in the forum post backwards?
Yeah, listen, that's not an issue. I was under the impression that everybody understood that there's a certain amount of tokens based on the declaration that are assigned. They were allocated to the initial members who launched the network, right? So with that said, it's on a 12-month vesting period, meaning that every month, 1/12 of those amount of tokens get distributed. That's all it was. And I think we actually answered that. I disagree. Like, I disagree with that personally. It doesn't matter if it's stated. It doesn't matter if it's, you can go and kind of start to dig into the declaration, then start to dig into the givers and start to compare this. What's the problem in writing a post to saying we are going to transfer this amount to that and this amount to that? And none at all. None at all.
So let's do it. I mean,
nobody said no. Nobody said no. So it's simple as that. It's solved.
Decided. So let's give until the next.
I think that the main question in the community was why the referral giveaway was used for this.
Seroj, let's not go there, please. Let's not go there right now. Let's give whoever need to do that a time until next community meeting, this time next week, to actually provide the posts on the forum which explains what, where, and why. Very simple. It's about, I don't know, half an hour work. I'm sure Ron can organize that. And that's it. Let's not discuss it anymore. If next Tuesday we get this post without everything explained, then either there will be questions or there will be something we need to discuss. That's all. End of story.
Okay. I think, look.
Thank you.
In other words, there's no secret anything going on behind it. It's very transparent.
You don't need to explain.
I'll finish. I'll finish.
Do that.
I'll finish. Okay, I'll finish. But as far as making an announcement, and from now on, so that it happens before the actual distribution goes out, it's simple, done and done. Any more questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that in future, when like making some like this moves, like community like is feeling all the centralized like stuff, and they like they just don't understand. And I think in future, like it should be communicated much more transparent in some transparent way. Of course, if this is a critical like issue that we should do now, then okay, we like believe you because you're a core team, like, and you know what you're doing. But
we're not distributing that, Ivan. We're not distributing that tokens.
Yeah, no.
We're not doing that. It's not us.
It's
initial validators who vote for each transfer with the 32 keys. So so that's first thing to understand. There is no kind of core developers who are distributing something. That there's no such thing. We don't have keys to this.
Yeah, no problem with that. I heard the buzz in the community, but I think
that's the buzz that I'm talking about. This is exactly wrong in terms of the process, and to stop this issue, okay, we need to communicate that it's very simple thing to do, and let's just do that, and that's it. Just finish this conversation once and for all. Doesn't need to be explaining why and what, and if it's good, not good, believing, not believing, not even spend time on that.
Okay, I pointed out some another questions which are like more interesting. The first, does slashing in a validator contest upcoming.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
Does it will the tokens burn or will they redistribute?
Redistribute as an original design. The slash tokens are redistributed to the validators, other validators.
To other
good validators. Yeah.
So
good validators.
Weighted by rating, right?
Yeah, it's it's a functional electro contract.
Okay, and so there could be an issue when like those who have like a bigger stake will and of course
understood. Yeah.
Validation will just more and more earn more.
Need to think about that. Actually, it's no, it's not about earning more. It's about is it a vector of attack?
Yes,
I totally agree with you, and that is part of the slashing condition contest, which finishes, by the way, on Friday.
Okay, yeah, but what about game?
Oh, the game, forget about that. I mean, there will be no solution for that. But again, if someone, I mean, I would love to see this attack happening. Like, let's do that, guys.
You said it finishes on Friday. Just remember, we're redeploying with new jury.
Great. So it's
10 more days. 10 more days.
Perfect. Okay, that was question today from one of the teams to me about the extension. So if we have,
well, it's not an extension. It's not an extension. Let's just make that clear.
Yeah,
we don't want any extensions. No extensions.
No, sorry, but it is an extension, effectively. So someone said that they will not be able to kind of complete the slashing condition proposal in time of Friday. I said I cannot do anything about that. And then you have 10 extra days bottom line to do the slashing.
No. Let me no.
Okay.
No.
So
10 more days of voting.
Oh, forget it. Who cares about voting? I mean,
what do you mean who cares about voting?
Because the only thing that matters is when is the deadline for proposal submission. So that's the point. Okay. Sorry, so no more. Yeah. Sorry. Delete all that. Last minute.
Nobody cares about voting. We heard you. Like,
I don't care about voting personally.
Okay.
I care about.
I mean, when it will happen, whatever, blah blah. What I care about is that good solutions.
You objected about results.
Results, it's something else. I don't care. I don't care how much it needed to be voted for to get the good results winning. That's okay. Here is the rephrase.
There is dependence, you know.
Exactly.
Okay, another question is what will happen if a majority of validators in game will pretend like another validators are not exist, and like will that validators be slashed if they will just not communicate them by peer-to-peer protocol?
It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You cannot just stop. If you stop accepting blocks from someone until then, you know, first of all, the network will stop on some point where you get 33% of blocks not submitted. And then if you saw the rules, like the statistics that are gathered right now, they're not only, and the thing is that even if one of the validators does not accept, it doesn't mean this block wasn't sent. So the sent block statistics will be gathered anyway.
Okay, but how to make how to distinguish the like errors where validator is not accepting block by being like.
What is important is that it's collated. It's what's collated, and it's if it's you know.
Yeah, I need to dive some deeper in protocol because maybe I don't understand the system well, and
again, this protocol is for the contest. This protocol itself is not a slashing. I mean, it is of course effectively slashing, but it's just something that was done for the game. It's not the final slashing mechanism.
Yes, and by the way, could it be used as a reference for like creating a proposal?
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. Actually, it's part of the Tonlabs proposal will be, of course. So you're welcome to look at it and see how we're kind of viewing that. Well, the rest, if you're just plagiating, then it's something, you know. But you can reference it for sure, because it's like we believe that's the way in a vector of the design, kind of. So. So yeah, we don't care. I mean, you of course you can use this reference.
Okay. The last question about contests is so you pointed that there will be like a threshold constant, which will be like equal 0.66, and like what is what it's not ideal number, right? You just took it for this particular contest, and for real real mainnet, what will be like a what should be this number look like, and what does it depend
66 on? 66, that's a consensus number, 2/3
Always.
Byzantine fault tolerant consensus.
So it's just meaning that 33% of like errors is like my maximum to like my maximum coefficient for doing errors, and everything exceeding.
Well, naturally, if you kind of getting more than 33% errors, that means that, you know, you may kind of destroy the consensus by doing that or something like that. So right, so again, it's all statistics, but
yeah, but in the original proposal there were there were a statement that the threshold will be like dynamic, depend on how other validators doing errors, mistakes. That I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I think you like read the description.
Yeah, I read it. Of course, I read it. But there were like initial were without formulas, if you remember, and it was pointed out that the weights and this threshold will be like took each round. It will be dynamic each round, or maybe I get something wrong.
Again, for the contest currently, we propose this exactly what we wrote. Okay, for the slashing mechanism.
Yeah, just asking how do you see ideal situation, right?
Let's talk after Friday.
So then that's time to postpone, not push. Okay. Yes, and that there is also a question to maybe to run. I was pointed it out yesterday in the chat, but again, the question, the texts of the contest, all this like words are becoming too long, and that's an issue, because it's really hard to read, especially for new community members, and for those who maybe not as good as English as you are. So what do you think about doing contests like in short, like bullet form? And
I'm all for it.
Yes,
I'm all for it. So
and
I think
you do this and you will get this, and we have additional conditions which are pointed here.
Yes. Now let's do one thing though, right? Let's do one thing. We do have to separate contests that are technology oriented and those that are promotionally referral oriented.
Different
right? Different animal, different fruit, different everything. So that's very important. I think it's going to be very hard for certain technical conferences to be completely short, because it's easy to say, hey, create a YouTube version for FreeTON. Yay, go. Yeah, I mean, it's a little harder than that. But I'll speak to what I know. which is referral giver contest, referral oriented contests. And I absolutely agree. And I think that, and I've been a part of all the chats, and there's a few questions, and I'll address them in a minute, that actually speak to this, is that the more complicated, specific, and detailed it gets, the more, first of all, it starts to look centralized. It just starts to look like a set of rules, because at the end of the day, common sense has to prevail, right? So look, here's the contest, here's what you need. And there are just certain things that you have to understand as an individual. I mean, and that's actually part of the contest, is that you just have to figure some things out for yourself. Like, for instance, I'm not going to say it. There are just certain things you have to figure out. And if you don't, that's part of the evaluation. That's part of how a jury is going to look at it. And I agree with you. And I think that the most important thing with, and I'll add to it, I think also there's a tendency now to just want to repeat the same contest over and over again. And I understand, believe me, I understand. Everybody wants tokens, and it's right. And there's no shortage of tokens. But the premise of contests is to develop something. So for every contest that runs, to run another one that looks exactly the same as the previous is pointless, because it doesn't evolve. It doesn't take the network to a new stage. It doesn't do anything. It's like the scientific method, right? Once you come up with a conclusion and results, you have to analyze those, and you have to say, okay, now what's the next step? How does this contest become the next version of a contest that has similarities, but isn't trying to accomplish the exact same thing, but is trying to accomplish the next step? And by the way, that's how we get to decentralization 2.0, right? Governance 2.0. So a lot of people have asked me when, there's a question right now, but actually I'll leave that for somebody asked me, what about Decentralized Support 3? And my answer was, what about it? We can't just keep doing the same thing. We have to create more levels that will bring, because the ultimate goal is decentralization A and adoption B. It has to get to that point. So 100% agree. And I think we need to start scaling back the whole, and I hate the word rules. I'm getting sick of hearing the word rules. If somebody wants to really piss me off, just keep saying rules. I really don't like the concept of rules. It's requirements. It's minimal explanation. Somebody says to you, hey, cross the street, you should be able to figure out that you have to wait for a green light. We can't sit there and write that down for you. So that's my answer.
Okay, I think I will maybe come up with firing a contest proposal on creating a new format of contest proposals. Meta contest. Okay, because
I've seen some of that. Sure.
There's so much texts in it, and I don't want to read like all contests, because I'm reading over and over again the statements like that we should not transfer tokens to US entities.
Well, no, okay. So some things do have to be there. I mean, there are just certain things that are
like, you know.
Yeah, there are certain things that do have to be there. Again, some of these things are just going to go away naturally in governance 2.0, but yes. There are certain things that have to be there. But if you actually compile all the things that have to be there, they make up about one paragraph, and the rest can be very simple, right? It's just, yeah. I agree. I agree.
And actually,
that's
it will help.
my opinion.
I think it will help develop governance system, because it will, like, we will have like a crystal definition of what contest is and which kind of contests are, because we will like remove all the repeating stuff, and like we'll like see what difference between each contests is, and how different contests are between each together, etc., etc.
Great idea.
It will help like create a system, abstract out the details, and make it like
long overdue. You have to remember too, when we started this, right, we did everything on the fly. So now that we're a little more advanced, and now that we've learned lots of lessons, I think it's absolutely time to do something like that. So if you have a proposal, if somebody else has a proposal, get together. Let's create a sub-governance group specifically for that. or maybe just do it in the sub-governance that we have now in Contest Factory, and let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. I'm 100%. Unless somebody objects, I'm for that.
Okay, yeah, just wanted to receive your feedback on that. Yeah, but I think I'm done. I think that there is nothing. We can...
Okay, who else has some questions, please, from the participants?
Oh God, sorry, I forgot. There is,
Go ahead.
there is actually last one. Is there maybe a person or role in a team of governance team who doing maybe some business analytics and product design in a manner or in professional manner to create really user experience like we see in products in real world? Is there a role maybe some whose job is to investigate the easiest way of doing this interface, or what is the process of how? Can you please elaborate on what is the kitchen of development governance system? Because what we see now is each call or each maybe week or 2 weeks, we just get a new version of governance, and we what is your focus? Or what are the next challenges?
Can I, because I'm kind of pushing for governance to 0, and Pasha is doing governance 1 and 1.1 kind of management process. And again, let's talk about, there is this, again, I propose to organize a stream just about that.
Yeah.
This Friday, 6 o'clock Moscow times, 5 o'clock Central European times. Let's just do all the questions there. Okay. I'm sure there is a huge amount of things to talk about there.
But the short answer to your question is, of course, this is on everybody's mind, and there are several subgroups that are working on whether it's developing governance 1.1, 1.2, up to 2.0, to positioning, to UI UX, and we have a few people here that obviously are involved. So yeah, I mean, this isn't a new question; it's being handled. But I agree with Mitya. Let's all get together and let's hash it out. I think it's important.
Fine. Yeah, and by the way, my main question on this upcoming call will be what we as a community can what value we can bring in your process, and not how should we behave not to to not make things bad for you and not spend your time.
Who's you?
How can we?
Who's you? Who made bad for who? For me?
Team who develops this governance and owns the knowledge of how it should be. So how may the community will be involved in a process if we, of course, if can, or what do you think about?
I'll save it for Friday, but very short. We've talked about this. It's about the way to scale governance is stratification. I don't know how to translate stratification into English, but it's essentially it's sort of a, I don't want to use the word delegation. That's the wrong word, but it's essentially the same way that you would try to decentralize governance of a city where you need to build traffic lights, roads, stop signs, and sort of like that. So what you do is you find active individuals in the community. You ask them to become active sub-governance groups where they can actually tackle these issues and come up with results, which is exactly what you're doing. We're doing. You're a part of it. See, a lot of these sub-governance groups right now, a great example of one that's working excellent is Wiki. That's just a fantastic group, and they're actually coming up with results. And this is the point, right? So what needs to happen is people need to get more involved. They need to become more active. Obviously, there are going to be some sort of a reward structure for that activity, but it has to be looked upon as it's everybody's individual personal responsibility to say, you know what, I can do this. I want to do this. I want to form a group. I want to lead that group, and I want to bring people together to help come up with actual proposals, actual results. we have enough discussion groups, and discussion is important, but discussion is just step one. The final step is to come up with a result, propose it, let everybody vote on it, and that takes it to another level. So that's how it works. So what you're saying is technically already in place. It's just because it just got started and it needs to evolve. So that's extremely important. So that's all I'll say about that until Friday comes around.
Yeah, thank you all. I will close my video and shut up.
You don't have to shut up. All right. All right. Who else has some questions?
I think we have many questions on YouTube.
We do. Okay, let's move to YouTube then. All right. So will there be a jury selection 1.2? There will, sure. But again, just as I mentioned a minute ago, we just got 17 new jurors. The idea here is not to just keep selecting juries and keep selecting juries. The idea is now to let the new jury work, and let's see how it goes. And let's see how the community reacts, and let's see how much improvement we can see. And then once the dust settles from that, then we can move to the next, which will be, of course, but juries will be selected until, of course, governance 2.0, where it'll be community driven entirely. So hope that answers that. Gentlemen, somebody asks, sorry, I don't know if you're a gentleman. Hello, just 3 days up for voting for visual brand contests. I covered this. I apologize. The YouTube live stream started a little late. I think we were 8 minutes into it, so you didn't catch that, so I'll repeat. Because we have new jury members, we have to redeploy the smart contract for voting. Once that's done in the next couple days, automatically all of the voting timeframes will be reset. So it won't be 3 days, it will be 10 days. So that's that. That's going to be handled. Hi, when are we planning to start the referral program? As it is a major part of the FreeTON allocation, around 85%. I see. Okay, so it's not a referral program. It started as soon as the network was launched. What a referral giver is, what a referral program is anybody who is not a developer or a validator. It's literally everybody else. Referral is just a word chosen to reflect promotion, marketing, whatever you like. So essentially, when you go to the contest and you see anything but a developers contest or a validators contest, that's a referral contest. So it started and tokens have already been disseminated, and there will be some more disseminated very shortly. So come to the party. It's been going on for quite a while. When are the new jurors going to vote? For every contest that is active right now, so everything from jury selection 1.1 and Decentralized Support 2 onward will all, after those two, excuse me, is all going to be voted on by the new pool of jurors. So literally everything you see and everything you will see from now on will be that, except for Decentralized Support 2 and Jury 1.1. So there's just some technical things that need to happen. We need to collect some information from them. We're waiting. We're almost done. So, you know, a couple days, I'm hoping, and that'll be all set. But moving forward, everything is going to be with the new jury. All right, next question. Hi, these days we are seeing a very high, oh, great question. I love this question. Very high gas fees from Ethereum. Is there a similar risk with high gas price for FreeTON? No. As a matter of fact, this is exactly the premise of FreeTON, right? Mita, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we have the cheapest gas transactions.
No, wait. Oh,
okay, yeah, go ahead. But this is good. This is good. This is what FreeTON was designed to do, was to actually be business friendly, transaction friendly. That's what dynamic sharding is about.
First of all, you cannot compare the gas on FreeTON with the gas on Ethereum or Bitcoin, for that matter, or any other proof of work kind of based blockchains. It's just totally not comparable. Like it's really a fraction of that cost. So that's a very simple question. So it's 1,000 times cheaper than maybe more. I don't know how much now it's like been crazy on Ethereum actually. Like for the DeFi, I like that. You do several DeFi trans. There is a compound in DeFi, so composability. You do some transactions in the chain, and basically you're working for your fees. Like it will take you. Someone said, maybe Serge was on the line, who said that it will take you a month or something like that to just recover the fees that you paid in gas, which is absolutely crazy, totally. Would that be forever like that? And what would happen if, first of all, again, just on this very safe networks during the game, we have transacted like more than half a year of Ethereum transactions in the 6 days or something like that. So of course, the amount of transactions that you have right now on Ethereum is nothing to FreeTON. It's like nothing. You won't feel it. It's 800 something like 1,000, I don't know, transactions a day, which is really like nothing. Million transactions a day. It's nothing for FreeTON. So the gas will not increase in that amount of transactions at all. Now, in FreeTON, there is a different metrics for it's not by gas, it's by emission, which is this cross-regulated because more blocks is out there, meaning that if you're sharding, you produces more blocks. If you produces more blocks, then you have more emission. So in a way, in FreeTON, it's balanced differently. I think it deserves another topic, like not now, but maybe we need to write about that. But the whole mechanisms of compensation for the network in FreeTON is totally kind of different model than it's not directly comparable to anything I think that we have now. It's kind of a self-balanced. It's a little bit also, it has a little bit of stability mechanism inside it, if you think about that. In other networks, if the transaction load produces more gas, the gas becomes more expensive and stuff like that. And then it encourages users not to transact, which is kind of strange, right? Because if it's a counterintuitive actually. If you have more transactions on the network, the gas price should go down. But because you kind of create more load, and there is more load on the validators or miners, then the transactions actually competing for the spot. Therefore, like the price is going up instead of going down. But what we need is price go down with the load, right? Because the validators get more. The resources that validators spend is not proportional increasing to the amount of new transactions in the sharded networks, right? So we have another way to compensate, and this is by, because you're creating more blocks, you're compensated more on the emission side, which makes sense because the more users are using blockchain, then probably the more tokens you need. So in a way, it's kind of acts like, not exactly like a stable coin, but it acts as a method to compensate, to create more emission whenever there is no chance for inflation. Because if you transact more, it means there will be no inflation. You can actually create more tokens, and the emission will increase. And it's not direct correlation, but it will compensate a little bit for the price increase without increasing the gas price, which for me, it makes total sense, this design, total sense. But we need to kind of maybe write a post about that.
There you go. So yeah, we're much better. All right. Will the selected country ambassadors collaborate with admins of current local country groups? As you know, we have about 20 local groups now. How will they work in the same country? Okay, so that's up to you. Again, this was a great question by Ivan. Is that we're not there's no reason to complicate this. Okay, so The contest is very clear and cut. Now, obviously, because we have 20 country administrators, it would only make sense that they would engage their own individual communities to come and participate in it. Now, is it relegated to just the leaders of the group? No, it's relegated to anybody who wants to make submission. There are no restrictions. But if you want to communicate with your local country group leaders, then please do so. But there's no, again, there aren't any restrictions. So whoever feels like they can do the job and they can do the job best, participate in the contest and win. It's simple as that. Right. Okay, so a couple of comments and a question. So one person writes, the old jurors did a bad job. Are there any sanctions for jurors in the future? So, all right. So first of all right, bad job, good job. Some did a fantastic job. And I know that because I was monitoring it. Some, we're talking about the human factor here, right? When the network was first launched, and this answers the follow-up question from another gentleman who is agreeing with this gentleman about how were the juries selected. The initial members who launched the network, the 23 initial validators, were the first pool from which jurors were asked to participate. Those who volunteered, I might say, at a time when really there were no rewards or big rewards for their participation. They voluntarily gave up their time to become jurors. And like anybody else, they're busy. I agree, we've had some hiccups, but these hiccups have now, at least with jury 1.1, hopefully are solved. We'll see. I mean, we're going to see. But sanctions. Sanctions is a word that the United States uses. Okay, let's not use that word. Okay, there aren't sanctions. There are certain ways, again, community ways, to address issues. For instance, first, voluntarily, we can ask jurors, do they want to continue to participate? If some don't, they can choose not to. If some people are too busy, they can say, look, I'm done. I've realized this is more work than I can sacrifice, and I don't want to. The second is there's a challenge mechanism. There are ways that we should be able to challenge jurors' participation, their involvement, and their activity. And the third is, of course, community vote, and certain jurors can be removed by a community consensus. So, of course, there are. The answer is yes. Though the shorter answer to that, though, is it's an evolutionary process. So, again, let's take everything step by step. Everybody likes to want to just get to the finish line, and so do I. So does everybody. But we just have compiled 17 new jurors. Let's see how it goes, and let's go from there. That would be my answer. Does anybody want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that the amount of old and experienced jurors in each contest should be greater than the amount of newcomers, because like there should be someone who will guide them, help them, and if all newcomers will like judge a given contest, then there will be a mess. Definitely there will be a mess, because every new juror will do a mistake. I'm totally sure with that. It will happen.
Yes, absolutely, and 100% agree. And it's not a matter of experienced jurors having any sort of more
merit.
Merit. Yeah, I don't think I agree with that. It's not a matter of merit. I think it's just a matter of the experienced jurors passing on their knowledge to the new jurors. That's it. Merit is merit. I don't think there should be a difference from one vote to another. Everybody gets to vote. I mean, again, I brought this up before, but let's take a court jury, right? A court jury is comprised of objective individuals from the community, right? I mean, that's what a jury is, who pass sentences on whether a person will go to jail or not. Are they qualified? No. What happens is the jury gets together. Somebody like an experienced judge explains how the jury process works, and then the jury gets to work. And that's all we need. I don't think we need to make a big deal out of this. I think it's just a matter of explaining how the process works, getting them to,
yes.
Oh, that goes without saying. Of course, that's already
Maybe
thing.
prepare some video guide on how to make your vote, how to cast a vote, how to like do your how to discuss that, what is the process like.
Already in the works.
Fine. Nice.
Of course. They're new. They need to know.
Yeah, but I just don't keep me wrong. I just forgot to put my submission to the jury contest, and I want to bring as much value as I can.
Absolutely. Okay, so next question. I guess they will say we will not change that result and keep that forever. Basically, they would like to control everything. Please disclose who is the address in there. Okay, you're asking for the identity of the jurors. Okay, so here's what you do. You go to freeton.org, look at the initial validators. That's the jury, well, the ones who volunteered. I mean, if you're asking for the identity of individual jurors, that would be absolute pandemonium. So I mean, that goes against everything that FreeTON is about. You have their addresses, and we all know who the initial validators are. I'm not even going to.
You can write them in Tonsurf Messenger.
There you go. We would like to know which address, party, entity. It's already there. Just go their wallet, their addresses, their keys are right there. I mean,
Ron, hi there. It's Michael Abano.
Hi.
There was one question that we spoke with you earlier, but shortly. I was wondering, what is the model for rewarding community members that take an active role in the discussions, in making the proposals, in commenting on proposals? What's the model for people who are investing their time now for whatever reasons? Yeah,
I think you're referring to the sub-governance, which is what we would preferably call the sub-governance groups that we just talked about earlier. Absolutely, there is a process being put together in place right now. I'd like Pavel to maybe talk a little more about that if he's here. Pavel. Pasha.
Sorry, I have the connection. If you please repeat the question.
So Michael is asking, what is the reward structure going to look like for leaders and activists of sub-governance groups?
Okay, let's put it in a different way. Sub-governance works in the same way as the governance. So there are people who control giver. I mean, control means vote for transactions. Then people who vote for proposals, and people who are jurors. So if they're all the same people, so then those sub-governance, members of sub-governance group, they will just get as jurors, tokens as jurors in the same way. There are no special. First of all, we didn't launch yet. We plan to do it this week or next week. First sub-governance group, and there are no special mechanism for sub-governance members right now. But probably once we'll start, we should think about it. And actually, the idea is that sub-governance is illustrated in a way that members make a proposal for, say, global governance, and they write the whole process, how many tokens they would like to get into their management. And there could be some potential fee distributed between members of sub-governance. But there are only discussions at the moment, so we didn't approve any such proposal yet. So if we plan to do, say, for example, for FreeTON website development, then you can write something like that.
Yeah. So in other words, Michael, so I think we discussed this as well, you and I, and I'm willing to easily admit that I was wrong. So essentially, it will be some sort of a subsidized structure, right? Some sort of a subsidy where there are. I don't want to use the word budget, but it's basically a subsidized structure from which active members can draw to accomplish the work and, of course, to get rewards. Does that make sense?
Not that clearly that I would like to, really, because you know, you do invest your time. Some of the discussions are pointless and like bullshit. Okay, say 90% of them, but still, in those 90% of trash, some bright ideas might pop up just like that. But still, you do invest the time. Yeah, and I think it won't be appropriate to draw something from the cart of tons that are reserved to reward the people. Plus, this mechanism is sort of pretty unclear. So yeah, like I don't know, simple example. Yeah, I've initiated the discussion of the new landing page. Yeah, I made the proposal for the sort of a contest, like in quotes, but whatever. Then some other people joined in and still discussed something with them. And then the process stalled a bit because we're waiting for Pavel, which slows us pretty down. And he really told us that he will draw something, but okay, whatever.
Well,
yeah.
wait, can I just
There will be a process like a wiki. You can see like wiki sub-governance, and it looks like they took all work and they made a proposal on the forum. I saw that many times, and nothing stopped you to create the same proposal as they did already.
Yeah, I think what Michael's saying is that he made a proposal and then realized, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, but you realize that because the landing page idea is a little bit premature, right? Because there needs to be some positioning. So I think that's like anything else. So, but you spent the time, and of course you spent the time, and but the result, I think, is also very important. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. That's no question. Sure.
Okay, so I think for something that has to be stalled for reasons beyond the control of any individual is just a matter of time. It's just a matter of postponement. It's not like there's not going to be a need for a landing page. It's just there's no need for a landing page today. So, you know, that's just a case scenario. But again, the number one thing of any sub-governance group is obviously result. I mean, without result, it's just another chat group. That would be like rewarding people in the very main chat where there's 3,800 people just for coming up with.
That's for sure. But having you know, a concept, hence the word rule. Having a concept for you know, if you do these steps, you can be rewarded with this number of tons.
Let me jump in here, guys. Let me jump in here. So we have a mechanism of contests, and this mechanism is somewhat like evolving, and like it as it is, like is as it is, and we have another issue which like lies like a bit in a bit different field. We have an active community members or some members who like don't read the forum, but they heard that they can bring the value. They just like become a community members, don't read anything, and just do things. And like this is pretty appreciated, and we haven't any mechanism for rewarding that. And what I personally think about it, that I want to appeal to all the community members who already rewarded in a contest, all the contest winners. Please, you have like a really huge amount, some of you, including me, for example. and the real what value you can bring in here is to like temporarily replace the governance mechanism of rewarding and like just do a cashback to the community, recognize those who bring value, and like share a bit, and because people do good things and they need some motivation, and like they want to be recognized, because if they will not get an instant feedback from you, if they will not get this surf transaction, like a 1 ton, 10 tons, maybe 100 tons, what they just like they will they will just go and like do what they want, and will not like return here, because here we should like because we translating a vision that this is an open network and you bring value and you like participating in contests, get rewards, do like good stuff and get crystals, and people doing good stuff and receiving nothing, because there is not mechanisms. Again, there is no like people who are bad or who are good, and who I don't want to blame anyone, but I just suggest a temporary solution. Just share a bit of your rewards.
That's very nicely put. What can I say? It's fantastic. It's giving back to the community. It's great. But also, of course, nobody should have to rely on that. So there has to be a reward structure in place. But again, I just going back to, thank you, Ivan. That's you know, I'm humbled by what you said. But going back to what Michael said, again, there has to be a results driven remuneration. God, I hate that word too. Reward structure. We have, I don't even know how many chat groups I'm in at this point. 100, 200, I have no idea. You know, if everybody got rewarded for chatting and discussing, you know, that would
that's totally not my point. Yeah, it's the process which takes time. It can lead to some results or cannot lead to some results, which are results as well. Yeah, but having a structure, a mechanism, or maybe a preview of the structure, because it's important, because I'm sure that, and I just read the general chats, and I see people that are interested in developing some code, some smart contracts, some stuff, which might be, you know, not groundbreaking at this point, but maybe at another point, which are interested in developing, let's say, something.
Right.
Whatever it is. So,
right.
And if they, you know, there is like a jury, a sub-jury, or whatever, which monitor the admins of the chats can, you know, write down, okay, this person is doing something. Let's maybe drop something there. I'm not speaking about huge amounts of tons. Yeah, I am speaking about recognition of the intent.
I understand.
Yes, the thing.
So
yeah, sure.
the idea with sub-governance groups, okay, of creating sub-governance groups, is to recognize that intent, recognize that talent, and bring them to other group to bring them into either already formed sub-governance groups where they can exploit their talent, or create new ones to actually come up with a solution. So what you're saying is correct. The only thing is that it's one thing to say, hey, somebody should notice them. If you notice them, why don't you suggest them to come to certain groups? That's how this works. That's what stratification is. That goes from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. That's how decentralized governance occurs. So what you're saying is correct, but you're also saying someone should. No, you should.
Yeah,
You should.
I do perfectly understand that.
Yeah.
Sure. But again, we see it that someone develops a proposal, yeah, and as an example, your voice is pretty important and can block from the proposal.
My voice can block? No, my opinion is opinionated.
No,
That's all.
it do serves serves its purpose in okay, it could be good, like to evolve the proposition, to correct it, and something. But as again, I might be mistaken, but I see that you have a roadmap of some sort for some things because you have more information. Like at some point.
Not more information, it's more experience because when we started out, there wasn't this many people. That's all. And that's what I'm sharing. Whenever I give all I'm giving is an opinion. But when I give it, it is of course based on something that I've learned, and people pick that up. So that's normal. And eventually, I won't have that voice. You'll have that voice, or somebody else will have that voice, and so on. And there will be many, many people that'll have that voice. And the idea is to carry that information on. And also, it's very important that, and I try very, very hard not to put myself in a position where everybody wants to come to me. I don't want that. I want them to come to you, and then I want them to come to 20 other people for it. And the idea is to pass the information on like anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. Okay, thank you for the answer.
Okay.
I'm just was toying with the idea of.
I get it, and maybe there is something there. Okay, so maybe there's something that we need to all maybe think about. Again, my opinion. I understand I have a certain voice, but this is just because this is who I am. This is how I talk, and this is how I come off. So just but I think there's something there. Maybe there is something that, and maybe there's maybe there is an idea about maybe, good ideas deserve 20 tons or something like that.
Yeah.
I just think that you also have to take into consideration the level of the governance we're in right now.
Yeah, I do understand that we are just in the beginning of a very, very long road. Yeah.
Exactly. So all these ideas are good, and I'm for it. Look, one of the most important things is distributing these tokens and getting adoption ready. So it's very important. But I think 80, maybe 90% of all of these concerns will sort of just melt away at governance 2.0. And frankly, a lot of them will actually go away at decentralization. Once we have the 300 validators minimum, I think a lot of these things are also going to go away.
That's possibly so. It's in the future, but maybe just an idea came to my mind. Like we post a proposal to have a monthly budget of say 5,000 tons for the best ideas. The ideas should be posted on the forum, have the discussion, and for those which have active discussions, who have the point, the jury once a month has someone edits the list with those ideas which are good, taking away the trash. So 20 ideas say are left. The jury has the sum up for them, and they just allocate some tons for them. Like one of the ideas.
Yeah, that actually just sounds like a recurring contest to me.
Yes, exactly. That sounds like contest. Why not to do that?
It's not difficult to make idea. It's difficult to implement idea. That's quite difficult.
That's another layer. And I'm not saying that we have to reward the idea, which could be perfectly written out and stuff with lots of tons. Yeah, but we can have sort of a bank of ideas. So if a new developer, a new designer, or whatever, a new guy from the business jumps into FreeTON, he can go to like, it will be a section of the site or whatever called ideas, and just have a huge list of ideas which he can take and implement into his business, or develop the code, or design something like, a bank.
I understood. But the problem that he will be one person who going to do that. That why we are doing the work groups right now. That they're like a duckling. They need to grow up, and then it will be some kind of sub-governance inside the FreeTON.
I think that's the point. It's the point of a future, and I'm.
It's not the future. It's going right now at this moment. There are many people. They are working in that subgroups, and they do a work. That's
okay.
And
okay. It can be collective. It can be a collective issue, like a forum post, idea X, the text for idea, possible ways of implementation, authors, and the list of people who worked on the concept. It's okay as well.
I think it's good, and we can actually post some kind of Google form or something like that, and to people, and that people should go through that form, and they can go to the some kind of groups that they are working to join. I think that process will be much better.
Or maybe topic forums with links to Telegram channels divided into groups, subgroups, etc., to redirect people flows to the proper places. Yeah, but it's more in mechanics, and I was thinking about a concept that we could use at this point, not waiting for governance point or 1.2, 0.3, or 2.0, because those are the things, in my opinion, for more global decisions or a bigger, higher level. That's my point. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Michael. All right. So let me just quickly announce, I mean, there are still more questions, but I understand we're running way over time. It's an hour and 45 minutes at this point. So if anybody has to go, you have to go, but we're going to have to finish all the questions. It's mandatory considering there aren't really that many. Ashutosh Nandan says, in reply to you, Ivan, as a matter of fact, he says, when I will become a country ambassador, I will do giveaways to bring more people to the community. So excellent. Thank you. That will be appreciated. Another question is, I saw an interesting contest proposal about FreeTON social media promotion on Telegram, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. May it be sent to governance for voting? Okay, so first of all, you can propose anything on the forum, right? And the idea is for people to come and comment on your proposal and get some feedback, refine your proposal. Then from there, let's see where it goes. I mean, if it's something that garners a lot of interest and brings a lot of people, then yeah, absolutely. Again, you don't need to ask, just you can just do. So thank you for your question. Okay, so that's, did I miss anything? Oh, yeah. Hi, one more question about SURF. It's currently in the beta stage. When will it be available to the public?
We don't have anyone from SURF team here. No. I think it will be available. I don't remember exactly like the time, but I think it should be available before the full decentralization, meaning the validators joining the network, new validators joining the network. I think by then, which means middle of September, something like that.
Don't commit.
I'm not committing. I'm saying something like that. Can mean different things, like
that's the goal.
End of December. No, just
sometime
kidding.
Within the next 12 moons. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally joking. Yeah. Okay. All right. So hopefully that answers your question. All right. I'm going to go now to questions that were written into us. So Vyacheslav asks, chosen airdrop mechanics assume distribution via minigames. To counter bots, such mini games should be created in secrecy. How does Tonlabs, why Tonlabs, FreeTON, plan to solve this issue?
Tonlabs doesn't do that. It's another team who won the proposal, and this team is developing. I have no comments on that. I don't know. They asked me some questions a couple of weeks ago about, some decentralization backend issues and stuff like that. I answered to my best ability, and we should have a contest of actually developing that, and inside this contest, we should probably raise that concern as well. So legitimate concern, I think. Maybe I just on the top of my head, if for example, the rules of the game or some settings of this rules of the game will involve certain entropy or certain, randomness, then it can be done, for example, or such things. I don't know.
Okay.
I can imagine few ZKP based games as well, for example.
All right. Next question is it possible to add a new cryptocurrency to the blockchain? I'm assuming.
I think already answered that extensively. Just watch the stream backwards.
Did we answer in the first 8 minutes? Because if we did it, probably.
First 8 minutes of what?
Yeah, the live stream wasn't up for the first 8 minutes.
You want me to repeat all that about the currency collections and everything? Let's do that next time, please.
Let's do it next time.
If it's not in the stream, just let us know, and we will ask this question again next time if you didn't have an answer in the stream recording.
All right. Is there an airdrop for the community? Yes, when we're decentralized. When FreeTON is decentralized, there will be an airdrop. Until then, we can't do that, right? So, and decentralization occurs when, Mitya?
Hopefully after this DePool contest is over and everything is going according to the plan, then by the mid of September, we should start, and that's subject to both, like DePool contest finish and the KYC, which I don't know when it and so on. Then again, sometimes mid-September, I think.
Okay, and the last question that was written to us says, if I want to add the FreeTON to the decentralized multi-wallet application we are building, how can I go about it? In other words, where can I find the wallet documentation for that?
Sorry, which documentation?
I want to add the TON to the decentralized multi-wallet application that we are building. How can I go about it? Where can I find the documentation to do that?
There are several ways to do that. If you want to use a light client, then you use a light client documentation on ton.org. And if you want to use SDK, then you go to ton.dev and find all the documentation there. There is I don't know which language you're writing your application in, but there are bindings to different languages, and there is also a contest that will go on to happen in, I don't remember, September, with the new bindings for Ton SDK. So if your language is not there right now, then it will be there.
Okay, we just had one final question written into us. What is the difference between a token and a native currency?
Well, the difference is that the token is a special kind of smart contract for which you deploy yourself, and the currency is just the same as Ton main currency, just except for one thing. And that's a gas payment. So nobody's going to pay gas in this currency. But other than that, you just operate with us and the account balances and everything like you do with native tons. and that's the difference. So it's like embedded in the code of the network.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
but,
listen,
but I think sorry, Ron, but I
That's
think
okay.
it's actually a nice contest, which I'm just kind of thinking you can propose a contest for currency collection, work with currency collection, and you're welcome to experiment with that on DevNet. And if you do, and it's a part of the, let's say you propose a contest to do something with that, and we can then kind of create we can then vote on the DevNet for this currency collection. So just to, for you to be able to play with that. And I think we can form a contest around that. If you have an idea about the contest like that, just do that. It actually can be nice contest also for passing the voting on the network as well for the currency collection.
Thank you, Mita. Thank you, everybody. All right. Quick apologies again for the way the stream had begun on YouTube today. We had a little bit of a glitch. Hopefully that won't happen anymore. I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank everybody for their questions. We had a very lively discussion today, and I appreciate it. This is exactly the kind of thing that we need. We will see you all next week, same time, same channel at 12 noon UTC, 2 p.m. Central European time, 3 p.m. Moscow. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for coming. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. We'll see you all in
Thanks,
the,
everyone.
Thanks
in
all.
the chats.
Bye.